Right, everybody, I think we're set up now. My stream has been right, everybody, I think we're set up now. Has been playing up a little bit, but I think we're up and going now. So hello to everyone that's here, which is no one at the moment, but soon there'll be thousands of you. Well, what are we doing today? Well, today we need to get the bales collected, and once we've got that done, we can then crack on again with our harvest. Yes. Excuse me. We need to crack on with we've got the wheat harvest to do today, and then get that baled, get that collected, get all that back down to the farm, and then we can fast forward a day, and then we'll be on to the onion harvest. And the potato harvest as well. The potatoes will be ready as well, so we'll be busy. That is for sure. Yeah, we'll be nice and busy, but as I say, just for now, just while the morning gets up, and while the crops dry out from the early morning dew, we can get the bales collected, and as I say, get them back to the farm, and then get them in the shed. We'll unload them with a forklift, and we'll get them in the shed, and then we'll be good, as I say, to go with the harvest. Just the wheat to harvest now, and that's that's all the combinable done then, up until we come to do the soybeans and the sunflowers, but that won't be for another couple of months yet, so we will be we'll be full into veg. I would imagine before that, like I say, we've got sugar beet that's I think it's another couple of months away as well, to be fair. Yeah, so still 3 months away with the sugar beet, but it will be busy once we get going. So hopefully everyone is okay. Got a little bit of time again after recording this morning to do a little bit of time lapse. Like I say, time lapse. After to do a little bit of live streaming, and as I've said the previous day, or was it Tuesday, I think, when I did it, I'm hoping to sort of slowly move over to more and more live streams. It's it's something that I've wanted to do for a long time. I didn't really have the computer or the the software or whatever to do it, but now that I've got the new computer and OBS, and not using NVIDIA's live streaming app or platform or whatever it is, I have to admit, using OBS does make things usually a lot smoother. Again, I've had a little bit of trouble today, but it hasn't been too bad. Right, we'll take these back to the farm and then come back and get some more. Like I say, we'll use the forklift to unload them, and then we will be away again. Morning, Jeff. Hopefully you're okay and everything's going alright for you today. We're down on the Cheeky Badger map, which is the same map that I'm doing the From the Ground Up series. So it's the same map, but this is, although I am building stuff on here and sort of doing what I'm doing on From the Ground Up, This is more sort of a test map, but I was busy with my harvest, and I thought, well, I might live stream it. Some other people might like to come along and have a look. So that's what we're doing. So we're just collecting the bales off those 4 fields, and then we'll be into harvest once we get them done. So the harvest team will be out again. Our chicken coop is full of eggs again, which does mean that we'll obviously have to get that emptied. We can empty that with this trailer, so that's not going to be too bad. Like I say, we can get that way up. Looks like we've got some hail coming in, so we're not going to be getting on with any harvest anytime soon, although the sun signal is right behind it, so hopefully that will dry out a little bit by sort of lunchtime, and we can get the eggs done and stuff like that. So it will give us a little bit more time. So this church is a constructible building that we've obviously built on this map. I could not believe, I mean, it does no surprise, but I couldn't believe the amount of cement and stuff like that it took to build it, and bricks. So we're doing mainly, so the combinable crops is wheat, canola, soybeans and sunflowers, although the sunflowers were a little bit of a mistake because they were meant to be green beans, and I drilled them before I'd realised what I'd done, so I just kept them. Potatoes, which is directly in front of us, and then and there's 4 fields of them, and then coming round this way we've got a field of grass just to look after the cows. We grow peas and spinach, and then we've got 4 fields of carrots, 3 fields of red beets and parsnips, and I think it's about 6 fields of sugar beet. So it's a little bit more veg orientated really than combinable, but we are, as I say, we are doing combinable, and as we buy more land we'll be able to increase the combinable crops that we do, so we'll be able to increase and go up to barleys and oats and sort of stuff like that, sorghum as well. So that's the crops that we're doing at the moment. These are the cows, the dairy cows. Now I've got this set up, but for whatever reason it isn't giving me milk. Ignore that, that's where I had a little bit of building disaster. It put the building down and then made the ramp about 4 feet off the ground, so I've had to bodge it so that the tractors can get in and out, but it's not too bad. But yeah, this cow barn just not giving me any milk, and I just don't know why. I mean, obviously it's got the milk in, you don't really call them parlours, I guess, but the milking machines, but no milk. So I am kind of contemplating getting rid of all the cows here, getting rid of the barn, and then putting down another dairy barn and seeing if that works. I'm not sure whether it's an issue with the barn or whether it's a map issue. I don't think it's a map issue because so before this map was changed unrecognisably, my farm used to be right out on the other side of the map. If I bring up the PDA, I'll be able to show you. So my farm originally was here, and then my cow barn was on these fields here, going all the way up to there, so that was all cow there. And then in there I obviously had the actual barn itself for the cows, and then the pasture came out that way and then went up and round these fields and then back to the pasture. And then, as I say, there was the barn, and then behind that I had the dairy factory, where I was obviously producing all of my butter and cheese and stuff like that. And as I say, the farm down here, and then this bit here that's grass. I was using that to feed the cow barn, but for whatever reason, like I say, that cow barn just isn't giving me. So this is a bit of a better overlay. So these are the carrot fields. I have got another one down here, but I've just purchased this block of land. So I've just purchased this little block here. So that carrot field obviously hasn't been done to the same that mine have been done. The reason I've done them like that is because that's in the UK how we plant veg fields. It may be the same in the US and Canada and, you know, sort of other parts of the world. You know, obviously I don't know because I've not been there, but that's how we do it in the UK. The same with the potatoes, all the root veg, same with the onions up here. That is how we plant our veg. So essentially we leave a gap because it's not so important sort of today, mainly because most of the harvesters now have tanks on them, and so therefore they can you know, hold the crop until they get to the end of the field. But back in the day when they were the trailed Grimmy harvesters, you needed the bit there and sort of around the outside so that the tractor and trailer could run, so it was never running on crop. And then what you would do is once you'd got the headlands harvested, you would then get the harvester, and there would be a tractor come into the field with row crops on, and the trailer would have a trailer version of row crops, so it would be narrow enough to fit between the rows, and then they would open out the field all the way across the field, a width wide enough so that the normal tractors and trailers could then run up and down the field, and again they would never be on crop. So that's the reason why I've done them like that, because that's how I used to do them at work. You know, as I say, I sort of used to plant I used to help out with potato planting, but my sort of job was onions, was like the parsnips, the carrots, the Brussels, the leeks and stuff like that, broccoli, and again that's done slightly differently as well. But yeah, so with this cow barn, I just don't know why it won't give me milk. You know, as far as I know, the cows are old enough. 26 months, the cows are old enough. I don't think they need to be reproducing to produce milk, or maybe they do. So it'll be interesting to see, as we're now only 10% off, them having full, you know, reproduction. So I don't know. It might just be that I've not waited long enough and I'm a little bit impatient, which wouldn't surprise anyone that knows me. But anyway, we'll get this lorry backed up over there, and then so I've got two entrances to this bit. This side here for tractors, because tractors fit in there, and then I've sort of levelled and put a road down the back so that lorries can get in and out. So I've got this road down here on the back. Also as well, it does help me to have a in and out system. So the tractors, when manure spreading, can come in this way. They come down here, and then they turn, and then here somewhere is the wait point for them, and then they go out of that gate there, so that the traffic is always on a continual flow, so it never meets. And obviously if it never meets, it can't sort of, in theory, cause issues. But it's farming sim, it's auto drive and course play, and I can assure you we get plenty of issues. But that's the theory behind it. And I have the same setup on the grain silos as well. So I have an in and out system, so that all the traffic goes in one way and then obviously comes out another way as well. And again, it's just to try and make things a little bit easier. So yeah. Good morning, Ploughboy. Hopefully you're okay. Not working too hard, but I'm sure you are. Alright, we'll get these unloaded. So we'll get the shed open, and then we'll get these unloaded, and then we'll go back and get the others. It's a good job that Farm Sim doesn't punish you for for wet bales, because they would be extremely wet and completely shot to pieces because of the hail. All hail the hail. Alright. Now, are they different colours because the bottom ones are dry and the top ones are wet? I doubt it, but it could be. Or is that just a sort of FS dream that Giants have made it so that the bales recognise the weather and different stuff like that? Right, that's not going to go well. We all know me, bales and forklifts. So yeah, that's probably not going to end well, is it? Let's get this in here quickly before I somehow manage to fling them halfway across the map. Always helps when it's above freezing. That was the type of jobs that we used to do on the farm in January. This time of year was trimming trees and cutting them down and burning brush and sort of stuff like that. Dike, we used to go round unblocking all the drains in the fields that would run into dikes and drains. Yes, I fell in quite a few dikes and drains. I remember the first time that it happened and I was flapping around and panicking and I was taking big gulps of breath, and the guy that I was working with, John, he used to work with me on the farm, on Farm 1, he eventually pulled me up. Not that he needed to pull me up, but obviously I was panicking, and he was laughing his head off, and I said it, and I was like, really, I was like, it's not funny. And he was like, he goes, not funny. He said the water barely comes up above your ankles. He said anyone would think you was in a river. But yeah, I don't like. I'm not keen on. Well, I don't mind water, but I'm not keen on dikes and rivers and stuff like that because I don't know. I'm not. But yeah, that was one thing that I see him the other day, funnily enough, and. At the local village shop, and he reminded me of that and said, "Oh, do you remember the time you drowned in a dike with water that was barely up to your ankles?" I was like, "Yeah, don't remind me." But yeah, no, that was what we used to do, was cutting trees and trimming and, as I say, burning, and it was always good to have a fire in January. I think this is our first day, to be fair, as well, above freezing for a while. It's been exceptionally cold here, although we haven't had any more of the white stuff. The pictures that I gave you a little while ago, was it about 2-3 weeks ago? That white stuff only lasted for a day, and then the next day it rained for pretty much the whole day and got rid of it, so thankfully it wasn't hanging around long. We have got an absolute ton load of straw. I might take them bales out of those thingies, like I say, and then empty the food out of them, and then sell the barn, because I've just explained to Jeff, I'm not getting no milk in that barn. Come up from my dairy cows and my Angus. No, not my Angus. My water buffalo. The Angus are in the other field. So right next to that dairy barn is a beef stock farm, as I call them, and in there we've got Angus, and might be all Angus actually. When we've got the bales done, we'll have a look, but when we're heading back that way to the farm. So the plan is that, why is that doing that? I've still got a strap on. on the trailer. I mean, I do plan to go back to I've forgotten the name of the map now, Montana. That was going to be my live stream. I do plan to go back on that. But since 1.4, I think it's 1.4 patch from Giants, a lot of the features on that map for me have stopped working, and I'm trying to find a solution. The only thing I can't now find a solution to is that the peanut diggers and harvesters no longer work with the peanuts again. But everything else that had stopped working, I'm fairly certain now I've got them up and running again. Yeah, as I say, I'm hoping to go back to Montana next week. If I can't get the peanuts working, then I can't get them working. Well, that's not good. The snow, like heavy snow on Sunday. It's fairly calm today here. It's just really, really dark and grey and miserable. Yeah, it rained, I think, yesterday. Started raining at about 9 in the morning, and it finished raining here at lunchtime. So you know, in and around, we're sort of we're up to our eyeballs in water, because the ground has been so hard from the summer. It's still not draining away, which is rather frustrating. A lot of the fields around here as well are underwater. If I get a chance over the next few days, I might have a little wander out and take some pictures of the water on the fields. Underneath, where some of the water has managed to sort of slowly drain off, when I went out earlier, underneath the wheat looks absolutely fine. The wheat doesn't look like it's been affected too much by it, but the rape that is being grown around here, because we grow a lot of rape around here, and that looks terrible. There's one field in October that was probably halfway up my shin bone, and then I went and walked the same field, or drove to the field and then walked into the field to have a look at it, and the rabbits have mown it completely flat. You would not believe that they, like, literally, it's just shoots coming through again. So it's surprising how much the rabbits can desiccate a field and so easily. It wouldn't be a farming sim patch if if they didn't manage to break something. But yeah, say on Montana, a lot of the things or a lot of the features of that map stopped working for me. But it's been the same on this map. But to be fair, on this map, it has been fairly easy to put right. Whether the cow barn's got anything to do with the patch, I don't think it has, because I'm fairly certain I'm using that cow barn on another save that I've got, and I'm, if memory serves, I haven't played that for a long time, but if memory serves, everything's working okay. But yeah, so just for the time being, as I say, we're on this map. We're doing. Oh, I've gone the wrong way now. Of course I have. It's me. But we'll do the straw, do the bales, and then well, we was going to crack on with harvest, but that's going to be a while, so we might even get the 9RX out and the cultivator and come down here and cultivate this stubble and get this ready for drilling, because next year this is going to be peas. So I might subsoil it and then plough it and then leave it over winter. I don't know yet. Or I might just come down here with the 9RX and just cultivate it and just push it over. I haven't got periodic ploughing on, to be fair, so I don't have to come down here and plough it if I don't want to. It's unusual for me because I always play with periodic ploughing, but I just sort of kind of fancied something different, and I just thought, do you know what, I'll leave it off this time. We just go around and cultivate. So it's a big old map, this, and on single player it can sometimes be a job to get all of the fields turned round and ready to go again in time, because obviously I'm playing with seasons on. I have to be honest, Plowboy, I'd never seen it before. I'd seen like a field have a bit of damage near trees mainly. You know, normally it's near the trees where you either get a bit of pigeon damage or like rabbits or the occasional deer, because again, deer is not something that we have an abundance of around here, but we do have them. Because was it last year or the year before, when I was coming home from Norfolk back into Lincolnshire, I hit a deer head on with my car, which luckily it didn't do no damage to my car, apart from it split my windscreen washer tank. It put a nice big hole in that, but that was the only damage that I had, and that was like, I think, 40 quid for a new one, I think. And Volvo fitted it, and as I say, all they charged me for was the part, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, deer is not something that's massive around where I live here in Lincolnshire. Norfolk, you go into Norfolk and suddenly you get a lot more deer. And it was on the Norfolk-Lincolnshire border where I hit it, but on the Norfolk side. So yeah, but as I say, it's I've seen part rabbit damage, but I've never seen them just take a whole field. Like I say, the rape was really, I mean, it was a real vibrant green. It looked fantastic. Fantastic, it did. You know, looked like it was going to be a really good crop, and then they decided that it needed a haircut, and they just literally ate the whole field. Like I say, I was walking through. If I get a chance, and if I remember, because my memory is shocking, as everyone knows, but if I get a chance and I remember, I'll walk the field and show you the damage that it's done. But yeah, it's not great. Also, there may be a little bit of a delay between you guys putting up messages and me responding. It's because my overlay on OBS for some reason has decided not to work today, and so therefore I've got me live streaming on my tablet, and and I'm having to read the comments from down the side there, so there's a bit of a delay to when it goes up onto the thing, so I don't always see it straight away. So if you're wondering why I'm sort of taking a little while to respond, that's the reason why. As I say, for whatever reason, OBS today has just been a complete and utter bugger. Just will not do the things that I want it to do, so I've got no overlay of the chat today. But so I do keep checking over to make sure I've not missed anything. Anyway, we've got these bales done now, so while it is still a bit miserable out, I think we will go back to the farm. We'll move the eggs and we will from the chicken coop, and then we'll get on to the 9RX and we'll go and cultivate those fields and get that done, and that'll be them out of the way then. Like I say, next year they're going to be pea fields. They're going to be peas next year, so they'll have a long old time fallow now, but that doesn't matter. I might even put some all-seed radish in there actually, because obviously you get paid for all-seed radish on the game. Don't kill myself on the spikes, that would be very nice. Bit silly to leave the spikes sticking out like that. Never mind. Oh yeah, I did manage to get. I didn't think I was going to reach them. Right, that's them done. I think the cow barn has got straw, although if I'm possibly getting rid of it, I suppose I don't really want to be putting more straw in now, though I have got quite a lot. Yeah, it's got loads. Yeah, more than enough. Well, I say, it's just a mystery as to why they're not giving any milk. I just don't know. You know, they're getting TMR. They're obviously bedded. Everything is as it should be, and they're just not giving it. So I say I might just change out the cow barn, get rid of all the cows. I've got a butchery mod, so with the butchery mod I can take them there, and then we can get some meat, so we'll get something for them at least. But yeah, it's a bit of an odd one as to why they're not giving me any milk. Anyway, we'll get this back to the farm. Oh, I didn't put the JCB away. We'll get the lorry back to the farm. Like I say, we'll go and pick those eggs up. What I'll do is I'll put them in one of my grain stores for now, but I'm desperate for the milk, because obviously I want to make butter and cheese, and once I can make butter and cheese, I can then get the greenhouses down to then make the strawberries to be able to make the cakes. Per the moment, like I say, I'm missing a vital ingredient, which is my milk. And I put that cow barn down as well right at the beginning. I know all the animals I put in there were calves, so I knew I wasn't going to get milk for a long time, but at the time I didn't know, I didn't have the grass to produce enough TMR for silage and hay and stuff. So I obviously did my first cut, made hay, put the hay in, and then after that I started stockpiling hay and silage thereafter, and hope that it would by the time they'd matured and I'd got enough feed, I'd be getting milk, but that hasn't been the case. That's not how it's worked out. Like I say, today I was hoping to get the wheat harvested, and then tomorrow we're on to potatoes and onions tomorrow. So for those that have not been here, this is the farm. Gradually, slowly moving everything over to John Deere. Don't really have a reason why that would be. Just, I think probably I got the 8RX in the sale, and then just sort of thought, yeah, why not? We'll have all John Deere, see what happens. And so that's why it's, as I say, all John Deere at the moment, or moving over to all John Deere. Anyway, we'll get these, I think there is room down the side there. Get these egg pallets aboard. There we go. Where to put them? Well, we have a pallet store here, so we'll put them here for now. Don't think I have a forklift up here. I don't. Yeah, so this is all of my, obviously, brick, slate, wood. Some, oh, I don't know why the wood's here. The wood should be the other end, but furniture, cement and bricks. Obviously, because I'm building sort of as I go. But yeah, we'll get these done. Just get these lifted into there. Obviously can't lift that much. It's also really lucky that eggs don't break on this game as well. I have a feeling I may have had a few broken eggs in all of that. I wouldn't be surprised actually if there's more egg pallets turned up, because obviously if it starts giving you the warning, it means usually they're stacking up within the game mechanics, and then they when you remove the ones that are in the trigger, they spawn the rest. But we should be alright for a bit. Like I say, I want to kind of crack on with field work. Although the hail looks as if it... Oh no, it doesn't. It's just because we're near the shed. It looked like it was easing off. Which then means give it a couple of in-game hours, and then we could have got on with the harvest then. I always give it a couple of in-game hours after we've had rain or hail, just to... Oh, see what I mean? They would have all been smashed. But thankfully Farming Sim lets you get away with all that. Which, in all fairness, I don't mind too much, as I've said many times before. As much as for someone who, I mean, apart from doing it with the super strength mod and stuff like that, but in terms of the actual farming practices, I do try to do everything as realistically as I can, in terms of like sort of how I do the crops and how I do sort of stuff like that, and prepare the land and all good stuff like that. So I do try to do it as realistically as I can. There are then sort of kind of what I class as tedious jobs that should be easy, but Farm Sim makes pallet handling and stuff, they don't handle like they do in real life, and so this means that it then becomes a faff and a pain, and then so it sort of then takes away what bit of enjoyment you get out of the game. And so therefore I do sort of bits like that are unrealistic, to be fair, but there has to be a balance between realism and game playability. And the other problem that you have is that, I mean, I don't know, but I would assume the people that play the game for quickness, in terms of they want 160 metre cultivators and 500 metre sort of combine headers and grain tanks that hold 6 million litres of grain so they don't have to unload it, I would say they slightly outweigh those of us that want to do it properly. and so therefore then it becomes a little bit of a challenge for Giants as well to sort of try and keep everyone happy. But I'm sort of glad the game is not ultra realistic, mainly because obviously, you know, in game it's now been raining. If I didn't have anything else to do, and don't get me wrong, on this map I've got loads of stuff I can do, you know, but if I didn't have anything else to do and I had to sit and wait, you know, potentially 2 or 3 days to combine, I could see where some people would lose interest in the game, and I think that's where the balance for Giants sort of comes in. Yeah, later, Jeff, if you're still there. Sorry, mate, I didn't see it straight away. Like I said, looking at the tablet for the comments to come in, and the comments on my tablet doesn't update straight away. But yeah, that's right, PA Player Boy, you do have to break a few eggs to make an omelette. But but I'd have no eggs too. Although to be fair, actually, I only want to use the eggs for the ingredients. So yeah, I like I say, I'd sort of don't want to sell them. But if I can't get no milk from any cow barn, I'll have to sell them. But I would like to make, as I say, cakes and other good stuff. Eventually, we will be massively increasing the crops that we grow, but at the moment I don't have the land capacity to do that, and the only reason why I'm growing the veg is because I can then turn the veg into other stuff while I wait for flour. I mean, like the wheat and stuff, I can turn that into flour, and I am making bread, but you know, it'd be nice to get to a position, and the canola or the rape, I'm obviously making canola oil out of that, so let's say in time we'll get it built so that you know, I can grow everything and make all of the products that are available to be made, which, to be fair, actually I do like that about Farm Sim, the fact that they brought in productions, just because through the winter months it does actually give you a reason not to just skip the game all the way through to the spring again. So I do actually like that, which is so it's a feature that you know, I do quite like, just because it gives you more things to do, because this game can get very boring between sort of planting and harvest if you don't do animals, if you don't do all of the other good stuff that the game offers. Then you sort of spend most of the time drilling and planting your fields and then just fast forwarding all the time. But yeah, I don't know when this hail is due to finish. Let's have a look. So by 9 o'clock it should be sunny again. So we've got probably about another hour of it, which is fun. It's a long old way to these fields on a slow tractor. There's too much contemplation time. It looks as if this year, I know I'm changing the subject a little bit here, but it looks as if this year I'm finally going to get my debut ride or flight on a plane. Later on in the year, on the 9th of June, I've got my Lancaster day experience, which I'm really looking forward to. I mean, I'm anxious about a plane that's, you know, at its peak in the 1940s, but I do, you know, you have to sort of kind of put a bit of trust in to the fact that you know, they've maintained it right, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then this April, I think it is, I'm going to Scotland, and I've been debating whether to drive, go by train, or fly. Flying interests me because it's only an hour. Train is about 6, and travelling by car is about 8. So plane's winning at the moment, and then hire a car when I get to the other end. But we'll kind of see how that one goes. But yeah, it's looks as if it might finally happen. Alright, let's have a go. I'm sure you're not really supposed to be doing this in the extreme hail that we're getting at the moment, but let's see what happens. Yeah, I must admit, PA Player Boy, that was when I sort of kind of first got into productions, was the global production mod. Let's just halt that right there, because that has got a bend in it and I don't want a bend in it, otherwise it's going to look silly. Right, we'll go for that. So it does mean we're going to have to change our angle now. But we'll go for that. We don't like bends in or kinks in the work. I hated it in real life. And I detest it even more in Farming Sim, but yet again, Farming Sim implemented its own GPS system and then kind of did a half-assed job at it, as per usual. It's a great concept, a great idea. It's probably a little bit easier to use than the modded version that we had in 19 and 22 that I remember them from. But it's kind of like, why does your GPS insist on never doing straight lines? And you know, it's just so, and like when it comes to ploughing, well, it ploughs any which way but the right way. It ploughs the middle of the field okay, but it decides to do the headlands backwards, which then leaves you with, say, like if you did five rounds around the outside, it leaves you with 5 open furrows, and it's kind of like, well, you know, how have you come to the conclusion that that's the best way to do it? It's almost like giants themselves are not really sure how farming works, and are a little bit too embarrassed to ask, you know, farmers or, you know, sort of people that play the game that know, and just haphazard a guess at it. I have to admit, actually, unless this game dramatically changes between now and the sort of next version of Farming Sim, I might not be updating. I'm still desperately trying to get FS22 to install on my new computer, because for whatever reason, like I say, I can install it, I can play it the first time, and like, you know, all of my mods and all of my saves and everything that I've had on the game work as they should, and then I close the game. So say if it becomes bedtime and I close the game, turn off my computer, when I go back in the morning and then double click on the icon, it then just says file corrupted and it won't do anything, which is really odd. Hello there, Drifter from the Hours, thanks for joining. Hopefully you're okay today. We are currently on the Cheeky Badger map, and we were supposed to be getting on with harvest today, but the the hail decided that we should have other plans, so we are cultivating. We've been and collected the bales from these fields, so that's pretty cool. So we've been and collected all the bales, and now we're cultivating away. We're hoping a bit later on that we'll get back to some harvesting. This hail is due to stop around 9, so probably by about 11 to lunchtime on the game, hopefully the combine can come back out of the farm and back into the fields. We've only got our wheat to harvest. I think, if I remember correctly, we've got about 4 wheats. We've got about 4 fields of wheat to harvest, and then next month we will be on to so August we'll be on to vegetables, which is our potatoes and our onions. Yeah, busy, and then back in the winter we'll be doing forestry, and we'll carry on building the buildings that we're building, because the premise of this save is that I'm building the map as I play the map. So I basically start with the fields, got rid of all the trees, got rid of all the buildings, although I did keep the sell points, and then I have to rebuild the map. So it's with constructables. You can't always use constructables for everything because they're just not modded, and Giants don't have it in the base game, but for everything that is, it has to be built. If I put it down as a pre-built building, that's not easy to say, then I have to wait 6 months before I can use it, and that then sort of simulates the build time that roughly is. At the moment, I don't have any. Well, I have maps for FS22 for the first time that I play it, like I sort of just explained. But after the first time I've played it, when I go to reload FS22 on my new PC, it just comes up with file corrupted. So I've sort of re-downloaded it and reinstalled it. I've done sort of just about everything that is meant to, you know, that I can do to get the game to work continuously, or, you know, sort of consistently, so that I can use it every day. But for whatever reason, like I say, after one play session, if you like, on the actual FS22, and it doesn't matter if I just play the base game with no mods, whether I have no mods or whether, you know, I have 150 mods or 2 mods, The second time that I try and load the game in, I've even tried it, so I've installed the game, loaded it, quit back to my desktop, and then tried to load it again, and it just won't load that second time. That second time it says that the file is corrupted. So I don't know whether it's a firewall that I've got that's blocking it. I have tried turning them off, but I am a little bit cautious about turning them off, because the Windows firewalls are the only protection that my computer has, because I don't run any other sort of antivirus software other than what comes with Windows, mainly because I find that they bog and slow down my computer so much that it's just not worth it. And to be fair, touch wood, for the last, I don't know, last 10 years I've just been using Windows sort of security, and I've not had an issue. You know, I automatically scan every mod before I put it into the mod folder anyway. Usually if you go to download something that's a bit dodgy, Windows will pull it up before it downloads it and says, I wouldn't download this, or words to that effect, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, so no, if I can get FS22 to work, you know, I'm quite happy to do new series and stuff like that, you know, on the actual game, as I am FS25. I mean, I always say in my normal videos, you know, if you do have suggestions, you know, feel free to sort of kind of give them. PA Plowboy's given me a couple, which I am working on. I'm looking for a map to be able to do that on a suggestion, and as soon as I find a map that I think is suitable, we'll have a good crack at that. Another one of my viewers, Andrew, he's made a suggestion, and again, I'm sort of looking into, with his suggestion, tying it into an idea that I've got on my own and trying to get the two to work together. So, you know, I'm happy to do it. Yeah, so the Judith Plains map is the one that I normally live stream, but I explained a little bit earlier before you came into the stream that when Giants' latest patch, it disabled a few of the features of that map, and they were sort of the features that were key to my live streaming. But I have managed now to get most of it back working again. The only thing I can't get working again is I can't get the peanut diggers and harvesters to actually harvest the peanuts again, which was a problem or an error that was originally on the map, which the map maker had sorted and solved, but since the update none of that works again, and so if I can get it going, I'll get it going. I can get it so the digger lifts the peanuts onto the ground, but I can't get either the twin harvester or something like that. I can't get it so that lifts the peanuts off the ground, or the blue one, which I forget the name of it, but the blue one, the one that the YouTuber, is it Four Rows he's called, American, that grows peanuts. I can't remember what his YouTube channel's called, but yeah, so that's as I say, but hopefully next week Judith Plains will be back up and running, and I'll be back live streaming on there again. This is just kind of a fill-in. This is what I sort of do in the evening just for myself, this map and this farm, hence the reason why there are a few little sort of cheaty mods in the mod folder, like a baler that is non-stop, and you saw me empty the trailer with all the egg pallets on by hand by using the super strength mod. But when I do my normal videos and I do sort of normal live streaming, i.e. Judith Plains, then I don't tend to use those things, because I like to try and do it all as properly as I can. I used to work on a farm, and due to sort of ill health, I'm no longer able to work at all, and so I do try to do things as I used to do them at work, which I really like. That's what it's called, Field Rose. Yes, thank you, BA Boy. That's exactly what it's called. Yeah, I like that channel too. I like it because obviously it's something I've never seen before. It's a completely sort of new way of farming life to me. I'm sure they do cotton as well. I'm sure it's that channel that I watch them do cotton on as well, which I just find fascinating as well. But yeah, I really do like his peanut videos that came out a few months ago now. I think it was before Christmas. But yeah, no, I really do like that channel as well. But yeah, Field Rose, that's it. And he's a nice bloke, actually, to be fair. I sort of judge YouTube channels on if I was to meet the guy, do I feel like I could strike up a bit of a relationship and friendship with them, and he does seem a very genuinely nice man, and his tractor, his workers and stuff like that. So I really do enjoy his channel. The other one that I really like is Sunny Farms. I quite like that as well. I enjoy watching that channel. And I think there's a Canadian guy, and I'm pretty certain his channel is called Farming is Hard. I'm sure that's what it's called. But yeah, no, I really do like them. Well, we're slowly but surely working our way across this field. Definitely wouldn't be doing this in real life in this weather, because that would not be making such a nice job as what that's doing, but that's doing all right. I mean, I could in theory just direct drill all these fields, but I do like to cultivate them, because it does help to get rid of the tram line, so that because sometimes Farm Sim doesn't get the tram lines back in exactly the same place, and then you end up with sort of a tram line down the gap of the tram lines, and you're not sure which one's the tram line. So that's why I do like to do this, and then come in with either a subsoiler or a plough and just plough the tram lines out. But as I say, I have just been doing it this way on this save, and touch wood, it seems to be working absolutely fine, which is good. But yeah, we've got this one to do, and then the big one sort of in front of us to the right, and then those two small ones to do, and then hopefully by then, as I say, the weather will have calmed down, and we can crack on with our harvesting again, which would be very, very good. I really like this 9RX tractor that excuse me, Giants have made. I really do like that. We had one. Well, I say we. it's it's the royal we. There was a farm not too far from where I live. Had one in the summer on demo, and they had a Gregor Besson plough behind it, and then they had a I think it was a Verdestat top down behind it, and then they had and then they did the drilling with it. They had it for most of the autumn. Yeah, so not really the summer. After harvest, they had it for the autumn, and it was a beast of a tractor. I didn't get to go on it, unfortunately. I kind of hung around the field in the vain hope that the guy would sort of kind of indicate, come over and have a ride. But so I didn't get to go on it. But and to be fair, actually, for whatever reason, I didn't even record it. I think I was just kind of like, wow, a farm around here's got a tractor like that. Most of the farms around here have got, sort of David Browns and old Internationals and stuff like that. So to have a a farm around, I mean, there are a few big farms around here. I mean, obviously, farm 2 that I worked on, that's about 5 miles away, and that was about, at the time, it was about 8,500 acres. I mean, it's not quite 30. It's just short of 13,000 acres now, but at the time when I was working there, it was about 8.5. And they could have a tractor like this because, but they tend to, they have got a 9RX, but they've got like the older model from sort of about probably 4 or 5 years ago. So they have got a 9RX, but and they've got one New Holland CR. Well, they've got 2 Lexion 8900s at the moment, but they're being traded in for next summer to have the New Holland CR11, which I'm really looking forward to seeing. And I have spoken to Shane, that used to or that works on the farm, that drives the combine. I have already spoken to him and said, would you mind if I come up and do a bit of recording and have a ride? And he was like, no, you guys, like, we've all said to you just come up whenever you like, and you can have a ride, you can have a go, you can have a drive, you can sort of do whatever, like. So it's quite good. Which reminds me, I haven't seen Kerry for a little while, so I might have to try and get out when they're back out on the land ready for spring work. I might have to go and see if I can bother her for a bit. She's always good for a laugh. I think this will probably be the last breed one. I've dropped that down a little bit too late. Yeah, it is. So I always used to find when working on the farm, it was always best to do the outside headland first and then do the inside headland last. So always work from your work to the dike or to the edge of the field. Well, yeah, so that's the state of the farm. I say it's very different to when I left it. Well, hopefully he has a good breakfast, Ploughboy. Now you've said that, I quite fancy a fry up myself. Full English, I haven't had one of them for ages. Very nice. I might have to go and do that now in the morning. So you've set something off now. But yeah. Well, that sounds good enough for me. Pancakes and sausages will do me fine. I'll tell you what I had last night actually for tea. Talking about sausages, I had toad in the hole. I don't know if you have that over in the States. But that's basically sausages that are essentially cooked and then with about sort of 20 minutes to go, you then pour batter over. They're in a dish and you pour batter over them to make a Yorkshire pudding, and then obviously the Yorkshire cooks with the sausages inside, and then you divide it up. And oh, we had that last night, and we had that with what did we have with it? Mashed potato, which I'm not overly keen on, but it's alright. Mashed potato, but we had broccoli, leeks, Brussels and cauliflower. It was absolutely delicious. It was really proper delicious. Oh, I tell you, it's absolutely delicious. PA Ploughboy, absolutely. Oh, honestly, it was fantastic. And Mum had done the. So she does them in a really deep dish, and then just literally fills probably the dish half full of batter, and the sausages kind of sort of as they cook and the batter begins to cook inside. It lifts the sausages up so they're bang in the middle. And she sort of cooks them and then lets them crisp off, lets the Yorkshire pudding crisp off on the top and around the sides and stuff. And then, as I say, she has equal number of sausages in each section, so she sort of divides the sections up, just pours the batter all over, and then just cuts down the middle so that everyone gets. I mean, there's only 3 of us, but everyone gets equal portion. 4 sausages to a portion with a massive. Yorkshire pudding, and saying all the veg, because I absolutely love veg. If someone offers me a plate full of veg over chips, I'm very happy, because I would much rather eat the veg. I remember when after I parted with my ex, and eventually I got to see my son, and he used to come for tea on a Wednesday, and he'll be like, "Nan, I'll have chicken nuggets and chips for tea," and Mum sort of looked at him and she went, "Oh, was that in Dreamland, is it?" And he sort of looked at her and he goes, "Well, that's what Mum does me." She goes, "Yeah, not here." She said, "When you're here to tea, vegetables." And, "Oh, I don't like vegetables, I'm not eating them." And Mum said, "Well, don't." She said, "But there isn't anything else, so you can either eat them and not be hungry, or leave them and be hungry." Anyway, we had 1 or 2 weeks where he just kind of sort of thought, "No, if I play this out long enough, I'll get my own way." And of course, after probably I think about a month of coming to tea, he realised he wasn't getting his own way, and he suddenly come round to eating vegetables. And now when he turns up, it was like, well, I mean, I don't see him again at the moment, but just before I stopped seeing him, it was like, "What vegetables are for tea tonight, Nan?" And he absolutely loved them. Yeah, you can't beat some of the English dishes. Like I say, there's some of the English dishes are. I mean, I'm slightly biased because obviously I'm from England, but they are unbeatable. Like fish and chips and fried breakfast. Like not like when you go to some cafes and have um, what I call a cheap fried breakfast, which is shriveled up sausage and one ration of cold bacon. And but if you go to a proper breakfast place, like for example the Townhouse in Norwich, me and my ex used to go there all the time. Uh, no doubt the prices have gone up now, but when we were together, for £9.95, it was each. It was all you could eat, and unlimited tea and coffee. Honestly, we used to get there about 8. We wouldn't leave till about 11. we, we used to joke we were like two cows in a field grazing. You'd sit there, we'd chat and sort of, drink our tea or coffee, well, her coffee and my tea. And, and then it would be like, oh, I'm just going to go and get another plate of sausages, or I'm just going to go and get another plate of hash browns or fried bread or whatever it was. And then come back, and then we'd talk more, wait for that to settle a little bit, then go back again. And then we kind of get to about 11, and then she says to me, she goes, although I don't feel like it, we probably ought to go and walk the dog now for a couple of hours to try and walk some of that off. So we used to then go down, because like Norwich is not too far from Great Yarmouth or Cromer or places like that. And so we used to go down to the beach then and walk the dog. And we used to get some serviettes and then a couple of free sausages and a little bit of bacon and a little bit of hash brown, because for some reason the dog had got a taste for hash brown. And when we was in the car on the way to the beach to take it for its walk, you could hear it in the back. We used to put it in its bowl and it would sit and eat its sausages and hash brown and its little bits of bacon and stuff, and the dog was well happy. But yeah, I think between us we managed to get the dog onto foods that dogs are uh, were never meant to be on, but that was what we did back in the I'd say a couple of 3 years ago now that was. Um, but yeah, good times. I sort of kind of miss the breakfasts and I miss the walks, but I don't miss the misses. I don't. I'm quite a fan of the peace and quiet that I get now. It's always very good, and obviously because I like my racing, and she sort of, I mean, she would go, but she wasn't a huge fan, I don't think. So it meant that most of the time I didn't get, well, now obviously being single again and sort of being my own man, I can go every week, as some people that follow the channel will know, because I always post a picture of where I am, which whether it's Mildenhall or Northampton or Kingsley and Great Yarmouth, Skegness, all the tracks that I visit throughout the year. But I say this year I want to try and get to a few of the tracks that I've never been to, so hence the reason for the April Scotland trip, and or is it May? It might be Ireland in April and Scotland in May, but I'm hoping to get over to Ireland. I'm hoping as well this year to go to Jersey, because I want to go around the Second World War German hospitals, and they still have some trenches and other German sort of memorabilia, because it was the only part of the UK that did actually get occupied. Don't get me wrong, Jersey's not on UK mainland. It's in the channel between the UK and France. But yeah, Germany did manage to occupy that, and they thought that was going to be their gateway into the UK. But it sadly didn't quite work out that way for them. But there we go. Never mind. Yeah, you can get either here, PA Ploughboy. I mean, I'm not a fan of. So if I eat fresh tomatoes, it doesn't give me heartburn and indigestion. But if I eat them canned or fried, which is what pretty much you would get on obviously a fried breakfast over here, a proper fried breakfast, you would get the fried tomatoes. And sometimes as well, what they do is put them in the baked beans. And again, I prefer baked beans cold rather than hot, so it's sort of not something that I would have. But yeah, I do tend to find that fried tomatoes and tinned tomatoes, although I like them, they do give me really bad heartburn and indigestion. I have no idea why, but yeah, so I tend to avoid them, and obviously avoid them as well when. Well, I haven't been for many months, but when if I do go out for a breakfast, I again sort of won't have them. Right, let's reset the thingies in here now. We need to go to 0 for this one. Oops. There we go. Well, the dark clouds have moved in again. I think we're about to get some rain. That's always good now then. That looks like way too big a gap, yet there's a gauze this side. That's fair enough. To be fair, like I say, for me, I do like them. I do like them out of a tin. But as I say, they give me rotten bloody heartburn. But I suppose all heartburn is rotten, really. I've never had a good dose of heartburn, to be fair. Always makes me laugh when people go, "Oh, I had a really bad case of heartburn the other day," and you're thinking, well, you never get a good case. I mean, you could have just said you had heartburn and I would automatically know you had a bad case of it. Yeah, I must admit, though, with tomato, well, with all fruit and vegetables, really, I do prefer them fresh rather than tinned. Because obviously, I don't know if it's the same in the US, but you can buy the all your fruits tinned as well. So like pear and pineapple and apple and just all your fruits, you can buy them. I mean, the mixed cocktail fruits that you can buy over here in the tins, they're quite nice. I remember when I was a kid, Mum used to do them as a dessert because they're like a really cheap dessert for us kids, and she used to put a product called Tip Top on them. And honestly, you can't get Tip Top no more, or at least I haven't seen it for many years, so I'm assuming you can't buy it anymore. But honestly, Tip Top and fruit cocktail, absolutely delicious, absolutely, honestly, out of this world. If you want to get kids to eat fruit, buy them Tip Top, buy the fruit cocktail tins, and just pour on the Tip Top. Or ice cream. I mean, we used to have it with ice cream as well. And obviously it was really nice with ice cream as well, but being a kid, anything with ice cream is really nice. But Yeah, that is the one good thing about tinned fruit, isn't it? That you can drink the juice after. Really syrupy and yeah, it is nice. Oh, hey up! I hadn't noticed, but the hail has stopped, so we'll be back on to harvest by lunchtime, hopefully. We'll just get these fields done. We've got 2 small fields over there to do, so all of that there, those 2 houses are built. They're all I don't know what is the matter with my speaking today. They're all pre-placed buildings, so but yeah, we're moving around the map, gradually building it back up. I apologise for the silence there, my phone's going nuts. Having a mad moment. Don't know what was the matter with it. Well, I do know what was the matter with it. It was alerting me to say that there was rain in the area. The fact that the rain is hitting my window quite hard, it's like, yeah, I know. The other thing as well that's weird about the live streaming is that I obviously set up a thumbnail for the fact that I was on Montana, but I couldn't remember how I did it, so I'm having to use the Montana thumbnail even though I'm not on Montana, which I'm sure is very confusing, but I don't know how to change it. I had to look through all the settings. I did what I thought would change it, and obviously it didn't work. So as I say, it's a little bit misleading, the thumbnail, but I can't remember how I did it in the first place to change it. Not that it overly matters, I'm sure, but people will sort of kind of join the stream expecting to see Montana, see this and go, Jesus, what happened to Montana? Yeah, it's like I say, I can't remember what I did to change it in the first place. But there we go. At least my internet seems to be holding up a little bit steadier today. On Tuesday, a couple of times it quit on me midstream, and whilst there weren't thousands watching at the time, but there was a few people watching. When I managed to reconnect it all and get back again, sadly I didn't get back the viewers, which was disappointing, because as I say, there was a few in here at the time, but never mind. Actually, us talking about food reminds me that I still haven't tried a Reuben sandwich yet. I think it was called a Reuben sandwich that you told me about, PA Plowboy, and I still haven't tried one yet. Next time I go out, I'll have to when I go up into town, I'll have to see if I can find somewhere that does it and try it because it did sound rather delicious. I think that was that last year you was telling me about that, or the year before, and I still haven't tried it. Either that, or I'll just have to pop to the States for the day and find a place there that does it. Because I've never heard of it in this country. I'm sure it must, you know, some of the sandwich shops here must do it, but yeah, I might have. Or I think it's because I think I did look it up to see what was in it and different things, and it looked very delicious. So I might have to go over to Germany and try it, because that's where it originated, I think. You see, had one on Monday for lunch. He didn't send me any. But yeah, I would like to try one. I do apologise for the chair again. I have actually sprayed WD-40 on it now, but it doesn't seem to have stopped very much. Again, I think the chair is just protesting that my fat backside sat on it. It's like, geez, can I have a rest? In this field now, nearly done. We've just got the headlands to do, but we'll be doing the headlands in this corner, which is handy, and then we will be on to the two little fields, and then we can get on. As I say, we'll be back at the farm then, and we can get on with some harvesting then. Get those 4 wheat fields done. They won't take long. They're not very big fields, to be fair. Most of the fields on this map are pretty big, but those fields where the wheat is, that's not. So we can get them taken to the to the grain store and get them in there, and then as I say, then we can get that baled, get that collected, get that in the shed, and then we can fast forward the day on to tomorrow, and we can start getting on with our potatoes and our onions, which, I mean, you know, for as much as obviously most people know I criticise and criticise the game and Giants and that, but I am glad that onions were put into the game as well. Honestly, I think there should be more veg crops. I know, you know, there are a lot of people are going to go, no way, you know, like they're too laborious, they're boring, they're, you know, this, that and everything else, but I do really enjoy them. I suppose it's because, you know, pretty much it's what I used to do at work. You know, yes, I was involved with arable and grain crops and stuff like that, but you know, a lot of the crops that I used to work, you know, with were like the brassicas and the cauliflowers and the you know, the sort of broccolis, onions, obviously, Brussels, leeks, like I say, you know, that was cauliflowers and cabbages were, and lettuces were the 3 main crops that I used to plough in front of. So I'd be in there ploughing, and then behind me they would be breaking the land down and planting directly behind me. So it meant that when I was on those crops, I had to plough quite a bit slower, because they never wanted me to get too far ahead in case, obviously, the rain came. So I used to have to plough them a little bit slower. But you know, none of that bothered me. I was on the tractor, I was driving. Riding all day, as I used to call it. I mean, it didn't make no difference to me. And as well, if you were on the veg team, because it was sort of imported foreign labour that were doing the actual planting, They refused to work past 6 o'clock, so I used to get early days. I used to get early nights to be able to go home earlier and actually chill out for a bit. But when I was actually ploughing ahead of sort of arable crops and like normal root vegetables, like carrots and stuff like that, then I'd be working till very late at night to make sure I kept in front of the usually 3 or 4 planters that would be working behind me. I had to get a long way in front because it wasn't long before they would catch me up. My plough being sort of, I think it was about 6.5 meters wide, and you get 3 or 4 planters at 6 meter each. It isn't long before they're catching you. Yeah, I'd love to see peanuts in the base game. Absolutely. In the short time that I got to use them on Montana when they work properly with the diggers and the actual peanut harvester mods that are out for the game, I really enjoyed it. And it was again, it was another sort of crop that took a while to harvest, especially on Montana, because the fields are blooming massive on there. So yeah, I totally agree. Alfalfa and clover as well for cows and stuff like that. Absolutely, I can get behind it. But yeah, I just, I like, and same as you by the sounds of things. Just a big variety of crops where you can really get into it, and you have different sort of I enjoyed the fact that the peas and the beans and that were brought in, and spinach. Obviously peas was something that we had at work. Spinach was something that came in onto the farm in the last year that my last full year there. I remember ploughing because the farm, when the farm was going to do something new, I don't know, it got very secretive about it. It was like, oh, we want you to go and plough X, Y, and Z fields to this depth. Sort of be loads of sort of conditions that they would want the field ploughed under. This depth and like direction and stuff like that. Which side of the field you started, like I say, the direction that you travelled in, the number of headland rows that they wanted ploughed. The farm expected there to never be an open furrow on the outside of the field. So when you were ploughing, whether you were ploughing in or out, you weren't allowed to leave an open furrow, which when I got to the farm I'd never ploughed like that, and it took me a little while to grasp that and to kind of get to the point where I could plough it as you should plough it but not leave the furrow open. So there is a trick and a technique to it, but it did it did take me a while to kind of grasp that. But yeah, so but I ploughed, as I say, I ploughed the field, the particular fields where the spinach was going, and they tried it. We didn't harvest it then. The farm not too far from us in Kings Lynn was growing a vast amount of spinach, and they came and harvested the crop for us. And they still grow spinach today, so it was clearly a success. And they usually started off with a couple of 100 acres of something new, and then see what the results were in the first year. If it was if it didn't lose too much, they'd probably keep it at 200. But if it made a bit of money, they'd perhaps increase that to 350 or 400 or whatever, and just sort of keep going up. I think when I spoke to Kerry last year about the spinach, I think she said they're up to about 1,500 acres of spinach now. So, and it's probably as much as they'll ever go in terms of spinach, because it's I would imagine it's not a crop that you make a huge amount on. I don't know, but yeah, that's as I say, that was a crop that had sort of come in, but a new crop as well that they've recently started growing is asparagus. Again, something that obviously I've not been involved. I've had asparagus. I don't like it, to be fair. It's not. There's not many veg in this world, or many varieties of vegetables in this world that I don't like. But asparagus is one of them. Nah, not for me. It makes me feel queasy just thinking about it. But yeah. For the channel this year, that is something that I would like to massively increase. Is the real life farming videos. Obviously, I did last year the combine from farm one that I worked on, the first farm that I worked on, and then did the was it Tales in the Field or something like that video that I did, which I really enjoyed doing. Obviously, every video that I record of real life farming won't be like that, but or Echoes in the Field or something like that it was called. I forget what it was called now, but yeah, this year, I'm hoping to get to the David Brown factory this year. That's not open at the moment, so I'm certainly not going to get at the moment, but I think that opens again in March. If I drove to Scotland, I could incorporate that into the trip, because the David Brown factory is in Huddersfield, which is roughly about sort of 3.5-4 hours from where I live. But you have to go past Huddersfield in order for me to get to Scotland, so I could include it in that. Yeah, you see, like the rest of my family, PA Playboy, they love asparagus. It's just never, I don't know. It's just a taste for me. It just didn't go down very well. But yeah, say the rest of the family, they have asparagus. I tend to get leeks or Brussels if the rest of the family is having asparagus. I do like my Brussels, and I absolutely love my leeks. Leeks are probably my favourite vegetable, and Brussels would be a close second. I like Brussels as well, very tasty. I didn't see none of the modified Brussels this year, because we have had the last few Christmases they've grown varieties of Brussels that apparently are appealing colours for kids to try and get kids to eat them. So you've had like purples. I've seen some oranges, orange Brussels. I've seen rainbow Brussels. They don't look very much like a rainbow, but you can see flecks of different colours in them. But this year I didn't see any of that. To tell a lie, I did see the purple Brussels, but it was either purple or green. So they've clearly not done what they were intended to do, which doesn't surprise me, to be fair. Oh, you're missing out with leaks, PA Playboy. Definitely missing. Well, again, missing out on leeks because I like them, but it doesn't mean that everyone else does. But they are very nice. Obviously, a part of the onion family, so when you're cooking them, you do get a very oniony smell, which when you come in from the cold, 'cause we tend to eat them more in the winter than sort of through the summer months. You can get them in the summer months, but as a family, we tend to eat them more over the winter period. So you come in, from sort of working outside or whatever, and the first smell that hits you is leeks. Oh, honestly, it takes you straight back to Christmas Day, because obviously Christmas Day we eat just about every vegetable going. Again, in this house, I don't know about everybody else, but we usually have roast beef rather than turkey, or chicken or anything like that, because none of us are that keen on chicken and turkey, and all of us love roast beef. So we just sort of kind of think, well, if you love it, why don't have it for Christmas dinner, and then you've not wasted any of it then. Although, to be fair, with my brother living here, not that much food gets wasted, because he's the human food waste bin. Yeah, it's like I say, you get an oniony sort of smell from them when you're cooking them. I guess there is a hint of onion sort of kind of taste in them as well, but like I say, they're not going to be for everyone, and but I'll say I must admit they are probably my favourite. But then I like onion, and I like white and red onion, so I guess that helps. I, d- I eat the whole family, not just a part of it. I eat the whole family. I really like red onion on cheeseburgers and stuff like that. Again, don't buy sort of McDonald's burgers, because but like Mum will do her own burgers from mince and stuff like that, with melted cheese and sort of stuff like that. And then I put chopped red onion in it. Oh, hang on a minute, I'm doing the headland and we haven't even finished the middle of the bloody field yet. So yeah, I'll put red onion in it, and then like obviously cucumber, tomato, burger relish, and stuff like that, or chutney sometimes. I'm not so keen on chutney, but I will eat it. But yeah, if there's burger relish going, then the burger relish goes in. Very delicious. Yes, like I say, I don't eat from Burger King or McDonald's or anything like that, because I kind of wonder what you are actually eating from those places, and B, they're just not as nice as what my mum does. I say she goes to the butcher's, gets the mince, and and then sort of shapes them obviously into burgers, and then or pates, I think they're called, and then puts the cheese on top when she's frying them, and puts them in between either, and this is a bit weird, because I'm sure there's not too many people that do this, but she'll either put them between a really crusty farm loaf bread, or heavily sesame seeded buns. Absolutely delicious. And she tends to do her own hot dogs as well. Again, it's not something that we would tend to buy out. It's Mum prefers to do her own, and core, you can't beat them either. But yeah, right, I'm gonna have to end the stream because I'm hungry. No, I'm joking. But yeah, all this talk of food is making me very hungry. I got jacket potato tonight. Ugh, I don't like jacket potato, but everyone else likes jacket potato, and I just think, oh, do you know what? It's just easier if you do all of us jacket potatoes, and I'll just close my eyes and think of the Queen while I eat the jacket potato. It won't be too bad. I'll put some beans and some cheese on it, and slather it in butter, and I should get away with it. But never mind. Right, we've got the end of this field and then the field directly in front of us now, and then excuse me, and then we'll be done. And as I say, that'll be about lunchtime on the game. In the UK, it's not going to be long before my tea is dished up. It's now 4:45, and quite nice, but it's still daylight at 4:45. Whew, seems many months ago that happened. But yeah, it's still proper daylight out there. We're tending to find now that the daylight tends to have disappeared enough that you have to turn the lights on at about sort of 4:45. So we've got about another hour of daylight, and then it will be dark again till morning, and it doesn't get light really until probably about 8. I mean, the light is there. The light's there from about 7:30, but when you can turn the light off is usually about 8, 8:30 in the morning. But spring is on its way. It's round the corner, and I say I was outside the other day, just odd jobbing and just making sure I get some fresh air, and it felt very much like spring out there. It was very cold. Well, you can't beat pizza for lunch. I had on Tuesday, the last time I did a live stream, as I said, the whole family was out, or my brother and my mum had gone out, so I ordered Domino's, which again, I don't normally like Domino's pizza, but, well, it's not that I don't like it, but I don't like to eat sort of that type of food because, again, you don't really know what you're eating. But needs must that day. I had a meteor pizza with just about every meat going on it, and then a whole garlic bread, shaped like a pizza, but obviously it was cut up, but a whole garlic bread with double garlic sauce. Absolutely delicious, but it did upset my stomach. My stomach at about 10:30 that night went, gonna have to sort this out, I'm afraid. So yeah, I shan't be having that again for a while, but as I say, Tuesday needs must. I once cooked for myself many years ago and gave myself food poisoning, so now I don't cook for myself. If I don't get in sort of like pizza or something, or fish and chips or something like that, then I tend to have sandwiches. I'm on fairly safe ground with sandwiches. You watch now, I've said that, I'll make the next sandwich and it will make me poorly. But yeah, no, I tend to sort of stick to that. But yeah, it's I can't remember what I did cook for myself. It wasn't chicken or anything like that. But yeah, unless it wasn't the food and I just happened to be poorly and I just associated it with the food that I'd just eaten. But because you know, they do sort of say it's not always the last thing you ate. But yeah, I was as I say, I was poorly for a couple of days and thought I ain't doing that again. So when I live on my own eventually, because that day will come, it's going to be sandwiches, probably fish and chips at least one night a week. No doubt there'll be a Domino's pizza in there somewhere, and I might even as well go to the local pub and have a pub meal, because you know they can be really nice. So and that's how I shall do it, I'm guessing, unless I find a woman in the meantime. But and that's not a sexist comment, by the way, for anyone listening that goes, "Oh, that's a bit offensive." I just mean that, you know, if you're not going to cook for yourself, then hopefully you'll be lucky enough that the good lady will cook for you. I'm going to shut up. I'm on very dodgy ground. I can, I can see, I can see the complaints rolling in. I can see Starmer and his cronies knocking at my door. You can't say that. So I'll change the subject. Because women these days are so much more than cooking, right? I might have to take up cookery lessons. But yeah, that would be quite funny. Yeah, the problem is, PA Ploughboy, the truth gets you in a lot of crap these days. The truth is the truth, but you're no longer allowed to say the truth. You have to say what's right. Dear. Dear. Sadly, I've got, well, I say sadly, but I've grown up with a mother that's gone, you eat what I cook. No, you eat what I cook, or you don't eat at all. And so when I was with my ex, there was a few dishes that she did that I was just like, no, I'm not eating that. Like curries and stuff like that. I'm not into that sort of food. And there was a few other things that she used to do as well. And I used to sort of think, nah, that's not for me. But in general, because of the way I was sort of kind of brought up, which is you eat what I cook or you don't eat anything, I tend to be quite forgiving on that front. But that is funny. Oh dear. Yeah, well, that's fair enough, to be fair, because mac and cheese and chicken nuggets. Yeah, I think I would have to encourage other things as well, to be fair to you. Yeah, I don't mind mac and cheese, but I say I don't mind chicken nuggets. I'll begrudgingly eat them. I'm not overly a fan of meat from the supermarket that's been processed to buggery. We do tend to buy most of our meat from the butchers, and the butchers that we buy our meat from, the cows are in and around the butchery where they sell the meat from, so you get to have a good look at the cows as well, like as they're sort of being reared up to slaughter, and it's nice to know that what you're eating is, well, at least you believe is fresh and proper, and it hasn't been tampered with like these supermarkets that tamper it with all God knows kinds of stuff to make its weight, so that they don't need as much as much meat in it to make its weight up. So they inject it with God knows what to, as I say, make its weight. But yeah, butcher meat for me is the way forward. One of my favouriteest things from the butchers, because it's just across the road from where we live, and then just behind where the butchers is the cows in the field. And they have other animals obviously as well. They have pigs and sheep and or everything else as well. But the cows are the ones that are nearby, and they have quite a lot of chickens as well. But one of the things that I absolutely adore from there, and they only do it for me. So they do Hacelet, but they do like Hacelet normal. But I like the outside of my Hacelet to be burnt to a crisp. Oh, you cannot beat the taste. I know eating burnt food's probably not great for you, but oh, you cannot beat the taste of burnt Hacelet. Just the outside bit, the meat is obviously well done inside, but not burnt. But yeah, the outside of the Hacelet to be burnt and crisp. Oh, especially if you get a nice dollop of proper English mustard. Ooh. I tell you what, my timings are going to be just about spot on here. By the time we get to the farm, that'll be just about gone lunch on the game. Oh, hang on. And well, then we can get straight on. It's tempting with how close them fields are to the farm to just use the grain carts and have the grain carts unload the combine and me drive the combine, because it seems a bit of a faff to get all the lorries down there, to get the chaser bin down there when they're only literally going just down the road. I suppose we'd only have to use one lorry, I suppose. I guess that's a thing, but yeah. One thing actually that I have been quite pleased to see over the Christmas period, and it's sort of kind of carried on, and also as well before Christmas, is all of the old old models and old mods of tractors and combines and stuff coming out, and implements. So very much looking forward to starting a save this year as soon as I can find a suitable map to do the sort of 1960s farm on. Then yeah, I'm definitely going to be back into that one again, because like I say, 1950s farm, I absolutely adore that. If I could just find, I know I've messaged Giants multiple times as to why I'm getting that error and what's wrong, but do they answer? Do they hell? They answer to a few of the modders, and everyone else can go, well, you understand what I'm trying to say. But yeah, they have not offered no insight as to why I'm getting the errors that I'm getting on FS22. I even downloaded and installed FS19 the other day, and that works a treat, and I don't have no trouble. So I might even try FS17. Well, I might even try them all and see if any of the others, because I just don't understand why FS22 is giving me that error. I just don't get it. I know I've repeated the error in FS22 a little bit today, but as I say, it really bugging me, that error, because I want to get 1950s farm back, because I really miss it. It's the only save that I've ever done that I really miss, and I'm sort of kind of desperate to get back into it. I mean, sort of last year it kind of drifted away a little bit, because I started doing all the shows and visiting, like I say, all the shows that I went to, and all the sort of days out that I did, and all the different things I was doing. And my plan was that sort of around November, December time, when all of that would have stopped, 1950s would come back, and would come back as the main series. So I would do, sort of maybe 2-3 videos of that a week, and then just sort of for a little bit of variety do another farm or another sort of save. I was looking through my history this week. I can't believe it's a year ago since I started Market Gardener. I liked that save. In the end, it lost its purpose and its point, because I started using big harvesting machines to do the veg, and the whole point of that was to see whether or not I could make it on just doing the greenhouses. The biggest problem is that the way that Giants have set greenhouses up, they just produce that many boxes that of course you're going to get rich. You know, and it's actually quite easy to do it even with the game on hard. Excuse me. And you know, and so it kind of, I don't know, it sort of morphed into, then suddenly we were using massive machinery and kind of lost its point. So at some point this year I would like to do a veg sort of market gardener type save again, but with a slightly different premise. But like I say, the one that I'm sort of, you know, if I'm not recording or live streaming, I'm usually trying to figure out why FS22 just won't load. And I've put all the errors into like AI, like ChatGPT, Microsoft's Copilot. All of them have brought up their theories and suggestions, but as I say, none of it at the moment has worked, and it's really frustrating. So this area down to the left of me, this is going to be a little bit of a town area. So along the sort of road front there'll be shops, and there might be a fast food restaurant or something down like behind, and then the car park at this end, where we are now, and the verges will be built up with flats, and then on the other side housing. This bit here I will eventually landscape this and put hedging round and put some headstones in and stuff like that, so eventually I will get round to doing that. But I was building the church while I was doing the spring drilling, and so in the end I just didn't get it finished. The church, kind of the construction finished, and I just didn't then have the time to oh no, sorry, I started it in spring drilling and I was doing it between planting and harvesting, and so therefore it's now finished, but I've just not sort of had the chat. I guess while it was hailing, we could have done a bit of work on landscaping it and that, but we'll get around to it in the winter, you know, as a nice winter job, as well as the forestry and everything else that we do as well. But yeah, we'll get this back to the excuse me, get this back to the farm, and we'll get the combine. And say we'll probably use the grain carts, so we'll bring a couple of fast tracks down to the shop, pick up the grain carts, and then and we'll just run a couple of grain carts on the wheat. You know, oh, dear me, James, are you blind, son? Nobody saw that. Oh dear. Nobody saw that. As I said the other day, these roads are just not quite wide enough for this equipment. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. I'm blaming the roads. It's nothing to do with the driver. And who put that lamppost there anyway? Wasn't there earlier. Oh dear. I say next, so when we get into tomorrow on the game, the potatoes there and the onions up there at the top there, that'll be the next crops to be harvested, and then we will we'll be probably halfway through the harvesting year then. There's the onions, just to finish off. It'd be interesting to see over the next couple of months whether that does actually start giving me milk, or whether I've got to get rid of it. These are the Angus, so I've got a straight split of black and brown, again just for variety really. They've obviously calved, Because that looked like a calf. Is it a calf? Or is it a deer that's in the field? No, they've obviously calved. So as I walk over him, sorry buddy, just walk over you, don't worry. It's all this grass, but no, I'll walk over you. You're fine, I'm not arguing. Just see how many cows are in this barn now. Should still have food. I haven't been here for it hasn't got food. It's only just ran out because oh no, it has got food. It's got meadow, but only 5,800. So we might need to bring a bale of hay down here or something, and get them done. We haven't got no bedding down here because I've got nowhere for the manure place to go. But as I say, we'll soon be taking some of them to slaughter and getting the butchery up and running. Yeah, and getting the butchery up and going, and getting our first burgers and steaks and everything else up and running, which is really good. Quite pleased actually with how those onion fields turned out in the end. Did a decent job of planting them. Cleared all the forest on that side now, so where that line is, that's another forest, another perchable plot of land with the forests on, but I cleared that bit there. So the front here is going to be all the farm offices and car park and inquiries and logistics and stuff like that, and then the second half going sort of in that direction is going to be the workers' houses and stuff like that. Obviously I live in this house, yeah, so that's all that good stuff. So we're slowly getting the farm there, slowly but surely. At least I have got quite a bit of money already. So that money is mainly from the peas and what else did I sell? I think it was last year's veg that I had in these grain stores. Because we harvested all the veg fields last year while it was raining, and so I put them in the dryers to store them over winter, and then I think it was probably about May time when I actually converted them over to tin veg. So right, we'll get the combine back down the field. So as I'm going to drive the combine today, we need a couple of tractors. I think I've only got one here. So we can use the 8RX, that's fine. Don't think I've got a wheel tractor up there. The one thing for a farm I'm missing is tractors. But I have got 3 fast tracks to be fair, but I tend to use them up there, up yonder. Don't tend to use them here. I think it's just the sprayer and the mower in this shed. Oh, and the tatey stuff. Yeah, so we're missing a tractor. Oh, we've got the Steyr. We could use that, to be fair. We'll use this, to be fair. We use this in the 8RX. We'll go to the shop and pick up the trailers, and then they can go straight to the fields, and then let's say we can crack on then. Don't hit the shed. Oh, wrong one. So we'll drop this off, as I say, and then we'll put this on Follow Me with the 8RX, and then we'll get over to the shop. pretty certain that I've got Follow Me installed. So I've been using the grain chaser and the lorries for fields that are a long way away, because obviously the lorries are faster than tractors, plus they hold more. So I sort of don't need them to there we go. You know, sort of don't need the tractors holding the combine up. I need to sort that out as well. So I've laid the tennis courts down and then didn't finish off the rest of it. So I need to finish that as well at some point. So whether I put down like a coloured concrete in there or something, or maybe some grass or whatever, and go from there. As I say, I'm slowly getting around everything and getting it kind of finished. I say, for those of you that are new to the stream, I'm trying to build a map while I farm it. So basically I started with just the fields and the forests around the outside, no trees in the map, and slowly I'm starting to build. So all of this I've built, all of this here, obviously all of the farm I've built, and any other areas as well. The church over there in that direction, I built that. Directly in front, just to the right, is like a contractor's yard that I've built. So it's got all like the pea harvesters in, the spinach and bean harvesters and sort of stuff like that. Just over there, you can see it now. That over there, put that in. So the building just there, that is where the industrial estate that I've built is. So that's where all the factories are and stuff like that. So yeah, slowly but surely we're getting around it. We're getting it done. But we'll pick up the 2 trailers and then I say we can send these off to the field, and then we'll get in the combine ourselves, and we'll go and get harvest going. Get harvest started. This is all the stuff that I've obviously bought new, or it's been in the sale. So all of it has been apart from the trailers. I think one of the trailers was second hand, like in the sale, but the other 2 that I've bought have been a brand new. Everything else that you see there was in the sale. I don't tend to really buy that much on the game brand new if I can help it. The 9RX, that was brand new. The X9 Combine, that was second hand, but the header was brand new. So yeah, anyway, let's have a little look at what field numbers we need. Up here, wheat. So we need that one, and that one is 95. So come here, 95. Which is that. And then we need silo tip, which is that one. Alright, that's good. Now, I'm not the best at auto drive. So it's going to be good enough to get the tractors to and from where they need to be, but sometimes they do go off in other directions, but they do end up coming back. I don't always get every direction joined up, so sometimes they have to go to another place to then get onto the line where they need to be for the fields. I've not quite figured all that out yet, but as I say, sometimes I remember and sometimes I forget. And the other thing that you need to do is this, which I've already done, so that's fine. But yeah, as I say, we'll use the grain trailers this time. I mean, obviously these have been bought really more for veg than for grain. Eventually, every grain, no matter whether it's next to the farm or wherever it is, will be done with the grain chasers and and the lorries. Eventually everything will be done that way, because what we'll eventually have, once we get once we get, you know, sort of a lot of fields and a lot of crops or a lot of the same crops, we're going to need they're going to take longer to harvest, and then we're going to need the lorries and the tractors and trailers for their you know, intended jobs that they've been bought for. Like I say, these trailers have been bought more for veg harvesting than for grain harvesting. But just for today we can use them, because as I say, they're only going from those wheat fields just over there that you can see back to the farm just there, so they're not going a million miles. So we should be able to get away with it. It isn't going to take long with the size of our combine to harvest those fields. So we've got an X9 with a 15.2 metre header, I think it is. So it won't take long. Yeah, once you get the hang of it, PA Playboy, it is actually quite a good mod, but it's a hell of a faff to get the hang of it. It's taken me... I liked the old course play. I liked the old course play where you could record the course from the field to the grain silo and back again, and then it would just unload the grain. As well, while you were harvesting, you could bring up your thing here and control those tractors and trailers. So you could call them, stop them, or whatever. With auto drive, you can't. With auto drive, if they collide with you or something, you can see it about to happen, you can't do anything about it. I'm going to have to change this header for the proper John Deere header, because it just doesn't fit the back of this combine very well. But I bought it because obviously it comes on its own transport wheels. I suppose I could buy a small John Deere to transport it, but then that's another machine that you have to be dragging all over the map, and that's why I sort of try to avoid. But if you go for the proper trailer and the proper header that the John Deere X9 comes with, then I guess you're not going to have those issues, I suppose. But as I say, I bought this header for ease of use, but yeah, because it doesn't fit the back of the combine very well. There's not much ease of use about it, as the 8RX caught up. No. So we'll do the field next to where the weight point for the tractors is, and then they won't be running on crops then trying to get to me. So we'll do this field just up here to the left first. These are all my fields as well. That's the contractor's yard with the BGA. I haven't used the BGA yet, to be fair. With the BGA, and then I've also got a sugar factory there as well. I don't know why I put the sugar factory there. Originally that was going to be farm and sort of kind of industrial area, then I realised that actually these fields around here were too big to get rid of, so I kept the sugar beet factory there, but moved the industrial place much further down. But as I say, we'll get the header on, and then we'll get that harvested. But yeah, as I say, in general, you know, auto drive is okay, but I did much prefer the old course play and the way that used to do it. I just felt that was so easy, so straightforward. you know, the user had so much control over, you know, the computer vehicles as well, computer-driven vehicles as well, or courseplay-driven vehicles, and it was just all round a much better way of doing it. But there you go. I suppose it is what it is, and auto drive and courseplay makers, I suppose, got together and agreed that one would do field work and one would do the road networking. But if we could have the old courseplay, that would be mega. Although I do, you know, courseplay is brilliant at doing field work. I get like cultivating and stuff like that. It's not very good at ploughing, and it's not so brilliant at drilling. And with this type of stuff, it misses too much on the headlands to, you know, to sort of be using it for combine and stuff. But ploughing, for cultivating and sort of mulching and general field work, it's awesome. But it does miss a lot on the headlands, which is one of the main reasons now why I tend to use the in-game helper system, because although it's not brilliant, it is much better at doing the headlands than what courseplay is. Yeah, as I say, it is much better at doing the headlands than what courseplay is. But there we go. It is what it is, until it isn't, someone said. Again, it's a bit of a change for me to have the John Deere. This John Deere for me is not as good looking as the 8900 class or the CR11 New Holland. Even the new case that is the CR11 New Holland equivalent, even that case combine is a much better looking combine than this John Deere. But as I say, because I bought the 9RX and then the 8RX, or I think I might have bought the 8RX first and then the 9RX, and then I sort of thought, well, probably going to have to go with the John Deere combine then to go with it. I do find that sometimes I do get a little bit brand happy. Let's say we've got a Roper sugar beet harvester there. What else have we got? We've got the spinach harvester and the traction trailer. They've been out this month harvesting my spinach. We do have 2 spinach harvesters, but I had one little field to finish off, and it wasn't worth putting 2 in there. And that's another thing that courseplay is absolutely brilliant for, having multiple machines in a field at the same time. You know, it's really good for that as well. So it's, as I say, it's sort of good at that. So I have 2 of everything apart from 1 sugar beet harvester, but I will be going for a second sugar beet harvester this year, just because I've doubled the amount of, or I've also got the root veg harvester there as well. And as I say, I use the fast tracks mainly because they can obviously get around the map quicker than what these normal tractors can get around the map. So yeah, I tend to use fast tracks mainly, but it didn't seem much point getting the fast tracks from there to the shop, where I haven't got a waypoint set up at the shop, and then to the farm, and then back to the fields. It just seemed easier to use the 2 tractors that were already there. This is the only thing that winds me up with auto drive. It doesn't just drive to the combine, turn around and then unload. It faffs and messes about, and then eventually the combine gets full, and it doesn't unload anyway. As my phone goes nuts again. As soon as that goes over 90%, it tends not to unload. There we go. Okay, Pierre Playboy, thanks very much for joining me in the stream if you're still here. Like I say, it takes a little while for my tablet to update with the messages, so if you are still here, thanks ever so much for joining us. It's good to talk to you again. I haven't spoken for a little while, and hopefully you enjoyed the stream, and yeah, I'll see you and speak to you later, hopefully. So Auto Drive decided that the trailer with only 48% in it needed to be unloaded. So there we go. Thanks, mate. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, really appreciate that, PA Playboy. Thank you very much. Or PA Playboy, if I can say your name properly, rather than mumbling it like an old drunk. Never mind. And so we've just got these 4 fields here, and then a bit of baling and collecting, and then that's the main grain harvest done. Then we've got soybeans to go, and then the sunflowers, but they won't be for a while yet, because I haven't that long planted them. So next job is the potatoes and the onions, and then we'll be moving into the carrots and red beets and stuff, which is all of the fields down there, goes round the back there, comes all the way back up this side to the road. So they finished round about there somewhere, and then we're on to sugar beet, and we've grown a lot of sugar beet this year. Just because we get a really good price for sugar, but not only that as well, I am hoping to get things like cakes and chocolate and stuff like that all made, but until my cows decide to relinquish all of their milk, I'm not doing any of that. Like I say, I don't know why that cow barn isn't producing milk, but we'll give it till winter. If there's still no change, then I'll take the cows that are in there off to the slaughter, and we'll get the meat from them, and then what we'll do is we will then dismantle that cow barn and put another cow barn in, and then try again. Only this time instead of starting it completely from scratch with I think I started with like 10 calves, I think, if I remember correctly. Instead of starting from there, we'll actually start with 20 fully grown matured cows and go from there and see what happens. But yeah, he's come back. Oh, he didn't empty it. He just drove through the he just drove through the tip point. He didn't actually empty the trailer, which is just bizarre, really, isn't it? Never mind. Anyway, this field is virtually done now anyway, because we're on the up and down now. It's not a huge field really. It's one of those awkward fields that would be better suited to be in a grass field. I did kind of contemplate where these wheat fields are. So at that end of the field up there, I think it goes from about there and goes round. It's quite wide, so I did contemplate putting a cow barn in there and then making all of this paddock for the cows. And you know, as I say, having the second cow barn already open and already running, so that, I mean, I could have then just transfer the dairy cows over, because my intention is not really to slaughter the dairy cows, it's to just let them produce milk. I don't want to make money off them in sense of selling them and slaughtering them, but obviously the Angus cows that are next door, they are obviously being grown for their meat, and they will be taken to the slaughter at about between 36 and 38 months. I've got some now that are 36 months and their price is beginning to go down, but I'm not bothered about that, because the cow price for selling the cow is in no relation or correlation to the actual meat price. So I don't mind that the price is actually going down a little bit. As I say, you know, one price doesn't have any bearing on the other, and so I'll be able to still achieve full meat price for it, even though the cow price has gone down. Seriously, I mean, if I was another thing that I hate about auto drive, come on combine, keep her moving. Right, is he going to manage to unload the combine without driving into me? That would be somewhat of a miracle. I'd just like to say hello. Say that in English. I would just like to say a hello to the other 3 people that are in the stream at the moment. Hopefully you're all doing well. Feel free to comment and say hi. I don't bite, I promise. If a vampire ever says that to you, don't trust them. Sneaky buggers they are. But yeah, just say hi. As I say, we're on the Cheeky Badger map, and we're doing as you can see, we're doing a spot of harvest. I was about to tell you something you probably didn't realise. We're doing harvesting. Yeah, I think people could quite capable of seeing the combine. But so we'll get these done and then we'll be on. Although I haven't said that. It's not going to be very much longer before I'm shouted for my evening meal. I did promise that I would be there on time tonight because I was late last night. Doesn't go down very well, that doesn't, when you're late. So I am I'm keeping a beady little eye on the time. that's got this field finished off. They're going to be coming from there, so we'll do this one next. Yeah, we'll do this one next. Otherwise they'll drive through this crop to get to that crop. And we don't want no driving through crops. Oh no. Is it going to give me the GPS? Nope. The wheat is not yielding too bad this year, at least it is in the green, which is not too bad. Combine struggling with the hill, but yeah, at least it's in the green. The canola that we harvested in the last stream that I did on Tuesday, that yielded exceptionally well. That was 128% with the dark green, and my peas were the same as well. So the peas and the canola I got on the right ground type, but the wheat, it's green. I mean, so that's good. You know, we're making money. As long as it's green, you're making money. We don't have exceptionally high growth costs. You know, our sort of field preparation and planting is fairly straightforward. Hence the reason, you know, the lack of number of tractors on the farm. You know, we just don't need them. You know, we have the 9RX that cultivates, and then the 9RX will also you know, go them sort of behind itself and drill through. The one thing I am going to do at some point is buy a second 9RX, and then I'm not pushed then to try and get ahead of the drill. I can just have the one RX cultivating and the other one straight behind drilling, because at the moment I'm having to do both jobs myself, sort of cultivate and try and get in front as I'm going along. It does sometimes push the winders quite close to getting planted and to sort of getting sorted in time. So yeah, that's why I sort of want the second 9RX, just because as I say, it will make operations a little bit easier. And not only that as well, but as I say, once we do get you know, many more fields, and tend to buy the fields in blocks, so like obviously all the colours. I do now own these fields here. I just bought these fields in this block, but obviously started up here with just the farm and the forest, made money from the forest, and then started buying the fields around. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. But the next block that I'm looking at is either going to be this block here, these fields along here, or maybe even the block of fields in there. But I haven't quite made my mind up yet. Could even be that block up there or that block in there. So I like to keep my options well open if I can, because that way it I always forget about the little trick that you can do to stop that happening, which is as soon as you want to stop, hit it so it chops it, so it's laid the last bit of straw, and then it will just spread the rest across the field. I always forget to do that, but and I say it will stop it then piling. But I mean, the baler will get it anyway. It doesn't really matter too much. We'll turn the reel off. We don't need to have that going, otherwise the combine will soon drink its diesel. And I'm hoping as well at some point we're going to get to use the BJ there. That should just about be this traction trailer full now, so it can go back. No, it's managed to hit the bloody header. Never mind, we'll get it filled. And then he'll be on his way. But it is annoying, it is frustrating. I don't know whether it's I don't quite get auto drive set up properly, or whether it is just that this isn't the header that should be on this combine. I don't know whether auto drive takes its measurements from the combine or from the header, i.e. from the combine it would know the combine was the X9, and so therefore it would know the size of auger. But if you've obviously got a header that's just ever so slightly wider than the in-gate, you know, the header that's intended to go on this combine, suddenly it messes auto drive's gaps up. I don't know whether that's the case or not, but anyway, like I say, I think next year I will for next harvest, or even the soybean harvest probably, I will actually go back to having the proper John Deere header on there, because I don't want that sort of stuff happening, because it kind of spoils the immersion and the game a little bit when tractors and trailers are just crashing into you all the time. Just about got that reel set up. It's probably a tad high, to be fair, but it's not too bad. One feature that I would like to see Giants eventually bring in is crops being laid by the weather. So rather than just deleting it, which I understand if it hails, because hail does do a lot of damage to crops, but rather than just sort of, you know, if when you get like high winds and stuff, it pushes the crop over flat, so you have to think about how you need to harvest it and stuff like that. You know, just little features like that would improve the immersion of the game as well. But you know, in all fairness, most of the time Giants can't even get the basics of the game right, so I think I might be asking a little bit too much there, and which of course that is just my opinion, but this game does have many flaws and bugs. Like I said, this live streaming should be on the Montana map, but just before Christmas, when the update came out, when we got the 9RX and that sort of stuff, it stopped quite a few features on Montana from working, one of them being the peanuts again, and it's really frustrating that they give you a patch that fixes problems, but then just creates new problems. It's like none of the patches so far have cured problems and then not created new ones. At least we're not getting the terrible green straw textures now flickering in the background once you've gone by. But still, if you're in cab looking behind you while you're ploughing or cultivating, you still get the the texture doesn't catch up, and it just looks like you haven't touched the field, and then suddenly it all catches you up. It sort of races down the field, catches you up, and then the whole process starts again. And like I say, for someone like myself who pretty much plays this game all day every day, sometimes it does spoil the immersion that you can get from the game, especially like FS19 and FS22. By the end of FS22, they'd got that game fair enough, pretty much spot on. The same with 19 in my opinion, the same with 17 as well. And so therefore you could get like fully immersed into everything that was going on and happening, whereas as I say, at the moment, lots of little sort of bugs and things are still in the game, and it does kind of break that as I say, immersion that you're getting from the game. But like I say, that's just me. Maybe other people don't feel like that, which is fair enough. We've all bought the game, so therefore we're all entitled to opinion on it. Well, I say we all bought the game. Some YouTubers obviously get it given for free. I mean, I'm not part of Giants' partner program, and nor will I ever be. This is just a hobby for me. Like I said, I have most days to sit and play this, and I just play it for a bit of fun, a bit of hobby. I used to work on a farm before, my health took a nosedive, so, as I've said many times, I don't want, I don't do this for the money or the fame, if you like, as I heard a YouTuber put it the other day. I just do this because I enjoy playing a farming game, and at the moment, for all of its faults, this is by far and away the best farm sim game there is out there. It's probably pretty much the only farm sim game that's out there at the moment, but you had Cattle and Crops a little while ago. There is another one in development, so I got contacted by a group of people, or a person, but who's part of a group that are developing a farming game, and they're looking for small content creators to do the first videos on it, and so they asked me if I would like to be one of the first, which I said yeah. I'd be more than happy to, but that game isn't coming out until, well, they've estimated between the end of this year and the early part of next year, so it's quite a long way away, which is fair enough, because as I say, I'm not a modder nor a game builder, and I can imagine that these things aren't quick and easy to do. The game itself, they've sent me like a little promo video that they've done of the things they've done so far, and there's proper soil physics, proper mud, everything is, and that does have laid crops with the wind and stuff like that. So yeah, they've done a really good job, I feel, of what they've done so far. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that sort of progresses, and how far that project actually gets, because like I say, Giants very quickly quashed Cattle and Crops by making it so that they couldn't have no licensed brands in the game. I do actually have Cattle and Crops. I do play it occasionally, but and this has got nothing to do with Giant stopping them from having branded machines, but the game is very unstable. You can play it for a couple of hours, absolutely no issue whatsoever, and then it will just suddenly crash, and you don't really know why. Steam sort of doesn't offer too many errors, and the log of the game sort of doesn't really tell you anything either, so but there were mods for it. I mean, it was a modded game. I mean, you know, I've got like a Dooch tractor, a plough and press, and sort of things like that for the game. So like it was modded. As I say, it promised to be a really good game for quite a long time, but then, as I say, well, I think once Giants realised potentially what the game could be. I mean, one of the features that I really like about it is if you're silage harvesting and it's wet, you can fit like chains and bumpers to the tractors and help to push the forager and the tractor and trailer that is running beside the forager. You can sort of, you know, be behind them and pushing them forward, and there'll be mud flying and the tractors get dirty, sort of, you know, authentically, not like Giants is where the texture just appears after a little bit. You know, if you're on a really sunny day and the ground's been dry for a long time, and say you're spraying, the tractor doesn't really get that dirty, which is true to real life. You know, I mean, stuff doesn't get dirty just because you're in a field. You know, the other thing the game had as well, if it was dry and dusty, then the tractors would get like a dust texture on it rather than a dirt texture. So it's really, really good. Okay. Yeah, so I'd say it was nicely done. I mean, if you haven't checked it out, go to Steam and have a look. As far as I know, it is still on there. But anyway, I've got this field just about finished, as we can see, and the good lady's just walked in the room and been tapping her wrist as if to say, "You promised." So I'm going to have to end the stream here and go and spend a little bit of time with the rest of the family. So I thank each and every one of you that has been in the stream this afternoon. I hope you've enjoyed it. As I say, next week we will be back to stream in Montana. So that is very much going to happen next week, because that's what the thumbnail says that we should have been doing today, but sadly we wasn't, because you know, as I say, there's a few little issues with Montana at the moment, but virtually got them sorted now, so we can crack on. And yeah, thanks ever so much for joining me on this stream. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will be streaming again either tomorrow or, as I say, next week, but we will be back on Montana. So as I say, thank you to each and every one that's joined me. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, and if you haven't done already, why not subscribe? I do videos every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and at the moment we're doing From the Ground Up and King Lake. King Lake is going to be coming to an end within the next sort of 5 or so episodes, because I have got some new maps that have come out. I've got a couple of map makers that have got in touch and offered the map, so I'm currently in the process of sorting that, and yeah, we'll go from there, and there'll be lots of as I say, new stuff coming, and a lot more live streaming as well, because it gives people the opportunity to interact while I am actually playing. So yeah, as I say, thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.